Kung gituyo madugay para kuha na kaning pag-admit na ako para diretso-diretso na. Okay, kapo yan kung magsig kaputol-putol. Okay, so this is our last discussion, no? Last discussion for basical. Congratulations. Grade 12 na dayon mo. Okay. Okay, let me start with module 6 muna. Okay, actually, ang concept sa module 6, gigamit na siya dito sa module 5. Pagkuha sa area, right? Okay, so anyway, module 6 or week 6, okay, this is all about fundamental theorem of calculus. Makita niyo ang screen? Kita na?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anyway, there 2 pages naman ni siya. Gituyo na ako ni nga mubo para madali mahuman, no? Okay. So, we define the definite integral as the limit of the Riemann sum. Okay, so ang definite integral class, okay, so na siya what? Na siya upper and the lower bound, no? Na siya upper or lower bound. So, how are we going to read this one? The integral of f of x dx evaluated from a to b will be equal to the limit of f of x sub I delta x I taken from 1 to n as n approaches positive infinity. Ba yung daghanan, no? Sige, never mind that one. What we are going to discuss this time is the concept on the fundamental theorem of calculus, or the FTOC. Now, the purpose of this is how are we going to evaluate the definite integral? Saan pag-solve? If we have this notation, the integral of f of x dx evaluated from a to b, this is just equal to the antiderivative evaluated at b minus f of a. Take note, the integral is the reverse process of derivative. So, given the derivative, unsa ang original nga function whose derivative is given, and that is anti-differentiation or the integration. Okay, so this notation simply means that the definite integral from x is equal to a to x is equal to b is equal to the antiderivative of f evaluated at x is equal to b minus this antiderivative of f evaluated at x is equal to a. Okay, ano lang. So, that definite integral is simply corresponds to an area bounded by these two, a and b. Okay, so ang kanadang definite integral just represent, this is equivalent to the area bounded by this curve and the vertical lines x equal to a and x is equal to b. So in other words, ang definite integral, when you talk about definite integral, this we are talking also of an area bounded by a curve and the vertical lines, no, a and b, with respect also with the x-axis ug unsa iya. Kung may kag-bounded, of course, i-bound siya sa no, upper portion and the lower portion. So this is the function now, and we have the x-axis as the boundary for the lower part. So when you say definite integral, we are going to find the area of this shaded region. To find this area, we need to evaluate the definite integral. So actually, definite integral is an area of a function, no, or area of the region bounded by this function and the vertical lines with respect to the x-axis. Okay? So to evaluate the definite integral, obtain the antiderivative, solve for the value, okay, then find the difference. Now, for example 1, find the value of the integral of the quantity x squared plus 1 dx evaluated from 2 to 3. Okay, so take note, the integral of this is equal to, sa integral sa x squared, di ba? X cubed over 3. What is the integral of 1 dx? Di ba x? Okay, so this time, since we're talking about the definite integral, okay, ato nang butangan diya bracket class, then this is the lower bound, this is the upper bound. So according to the FTOC, or the fundamental theorem of the calculus, we are going to take the difference. This is now the antiderivative, right? Antiderivative. So we are going to substitute atong ilisan ng variable diha sa upper bound minus the value of this when x is equal to 2. Now take the difference. We have 7 and 1/3. This is now the value of this particular integral. No definite integral. Okay. Now next, example 2. What is the evaluate x squared dx evaluated from 2 to 5? So what is the integral of x squared? Diba x squared over 3 plus c. Supposed to be kung paano siya, no? Kung indefinite. Okay, 2 to 5. Okay, so ilisan nato siya 5 cube. Ilisan po minus 2 cube. C minus C is just 0. So this is 125 divided by 3 minus 8 over 3 is 39. Okay, for example 3, the integral of the quantity t cubed minus 1/2 t squared plus 4 dt evaluated from 0 to 2. So we're going to apply the what? The sum and difference rule for integral. Okay, so what is the integral of t cubed? It's t to the 4 over 4. What is the integral of t squared? But t cubed over, okay, t cubed over, ano naman siya? Ah, yes. T cubed over 3. Yan na pa man kay 1/2. 1/2 times 1/3 is 1 over 6. 4 dt is 40. So evaluated from 0 to 2. So ilisan tanan ang t of 2 minus this expression when t is equal to 0, and it will give an answer of 10 and 2/3. Okay, so actually ang 10 over 2/3 is an area. This represents an area. Okay, then for simple ra kayo ang module 6. Kanira yung ansiran. Syaro, di mahuman, no? We're going to apply here the constant multiple, here addition lang man eh. This is the simply the integral of x to the n, then we have the sum. I really made it very easy para sa yun na. Because ang ako lang there is kabalo mo mag-evaluate of definite integral using the FTOC. Okay, so I'm done with module 6. Dali ara eh. Questions for module 6? The FTOC? Any questions? Panangit, na question? Diyan, Nico?
Naan, ma'am.
Oh, Marikit, wala. Sayon ra kayo, no? Okay. I will now proceed to module 5. Okay, so module 5. Kada eh. Sana all. Okay, makita sa screen ang approximation of area. Makita ra?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So this is module 5. Actually, of all the modules, the remaining 3 modules, ang 5 mo ay medyo taas. But, sa'yo naman siya, no? It's just the notation that makes it difficult. Now, the approximation of area using the Riemann sums. Okay, Riemann sum is an approximation of area of a curve, say f of x on an open interval AB. Actually, class, ang definite integral is being used to find the area of a regularly shaped figure bounded by a particular function in the vertical lines in the x-axis. Because kung regular lang siya nga figure, we can use the geometrical formulas to find the areas. Like example, ang kaning area is in the form of a triangle. We can use the area one half base times height. Kung rectangle, length times width lang. Kung square, s squared. Kung sphere ba siya, that is, so by sphere, that is 4/3 pi r cubed. No, pi r squared, no? Kung circle siya is pi r squared, di ba? There's corresponding formula to find the area. But the concept of Riemann sum is an approximation. When you say approximation, it's not really exact. No, approximate lang ka, kumbaga bana ka. It's not really the exact that we're going to get the value. So an integral is the area underneath a curve. The integral is the area underneath a curve, and this is given to be, muna na akong gibasa ganina. So what is that? F of x sub I and delta x. Unsa mo na siya? Okay, so delta x will just be the width. Now, suppose you have this figure. This is your function, and this is your vertical lines A and B. And this is your x-axis. And gusto ka, kuhaon ng area. So, saan na ko ni pag-area, pagpakuha sa area ani, in such a way nga, it should be, kung dili man gali siya exact, at least duol-duol ra sa tinuod nga area ani. Take note, dili po ni siya rectangle, dili po ni siya trapezoid, nor this is not a triangle. Therefore, the concept of integral now, or specifically the definite integral, is very useful for this particular problem in finding the area of this curve and the interval AB, no? Finding the area below this curve, no? This is the function. Below kaninga curve, below ana, and the interval AB. So we just approximate. The first step is to chop, no? Ato ni siyang bahin-bahin nun, no? We will divide the interval AB. For these pieces, no? Kada kuha na to, na siya width, di ba? Na siya width, and we call that the delta x. And I think you're familiar with delta, di ba? Delta is the change in x. Say for example, A, padulong diya, na-change, di ba? Say for example, ang A nato is 2, nahimo siyang 3, 4, 5. There is a change in the value of your x, and naa siya difference. No, naa siya difference diya. The change from A to something, delta x, di ba? The change in your x, no? That is derivative, no? Delta x. Okay, so ang delta x is just equal to the width, no? Saan ni siya? Kadaka. That is your delta x. We can calculate what delta x by taking the length of the interval. What is the length AB, no? Okay, so unsa man di ini kagagmaya, unsa man di width ani? Okay, how are we going to find the width? So delta x will just be equal to the difference of the interval divided by the number of pieces. No, the number of pieces. Okay. So we'll just write this one, x sub I minus 1. This is your x sub I. So x sub I minus 1 is the number before x sub I. Okay, so this is a what? Part of the big interval AB. So here, delta I x sub I minus 1 and x sub I, na siya what? Na siya midpoint. And that midpoint, we call that f of x sub I So muna siya, no? Asterisk man siguro siya, no? So muna siya midpoint sa duha ka what? These two sub-intervals. Okay? So here we are going to construct a what? A vertical line. And finally, we'll construct what? Rectangle. No, rectangle. So kani siya this one of the rectangles, no, below this curve. Kibali class, ang kaning figure ato siyang what? Ato siyang i-subdivide in the forms of rectangles. So if that is the rectangle, this is your delta x. Okay, the height will just be equal to f of x sub I. Tunga man diba na dito? This is your f x sub I. So this is the height, mo ni siya ang width. Okay, now take note, the area of a rectangle is equal to the length times width. So area is the height and this is the width. Or the other way around, the length or the width times the length or the length times width, no? Anyway, commutative man ang multiplication. Okay, so this is just only one of the rectangles. Pwede na to siya daghanon. Okay, so to approximate this area, we can construct as many rectangles as we can para makuha nato ang area. Because wala may definite nga formula nga unsa na to pagkuha. Because this is an irregularly shaped nga region, no? Or kanang shape nga ang area below the curve is irregular in shape. There is no particular formula wherein we can use to find the area, but instead, we are going to approximate this one using rectangles. No? Pwede to rectangles equal na siya og width and height. And the area of this particular region here will just be equal to the sum of all the areas of the rectangles. Depende sa pila ka rectangles. So area will just be equal to approximately equal to the okay, so the area of rectangle 1, rectangle 2, 3, and so on. Depende pila ka rectangles ang ating i-construct. And writing this as 1, area will just be equal to, di ba, sama na siya? We can write this, we can use the sigma notation. So, kana siya kay sum naman na siya sa area. Ang area is length times width. So, f of x sub I, this is the length. Delta x is the width. And because we're dealing with the sum, we can use the sigma I taken from 1 to n, depending on how many rectangles are we going to have. And this notation class, that sum of all the rectangles is actually our definite integral, no? Our definite integral. Nganong infinity man siya? Because pwede man nato siya, we can construct bigger rectangles. Pwede gagmay, pwede siya. So n is going to positive infinity. We can make as many rectangles as we can just to find the area of this region below this curve, bounded by these vertical lines. X is equal to A, X is equal to B, and the x-axis. So that's why the notation is the integral of f of x dx from a to b is equal to the limit of f of x sub I, which is the length, delta x is the width, I taken from 1 to n, because we can make as many rectangles as we can, and n is approaching positive infinity. Dili man pwede nga negative infinity, because n could be what? Pwede man ka 3 ka rectangles, 4 ka rectangle, 5 ka rectangle, but we can never have n equals negative 5 rectangles. Di man pwede, no? It should always be positive. So from the illustration, this is a subinterval, no? Subinterval, and we call this the partitions. When we find area under a curve by adding rectangles, we call this the Riemann sum. So kung gipangita na tong area using the rectangles, and we get the sum of all the rectangles, the process now is the Riemann sum. No, Riemann sum na tawag ana niya. Okay, now, this is just the notation. No? Area is equal to the limit of f of c sub k. Okay, never mind that one. It'll just ma-confuse na mo ana. Okay, so ang Riemann sum is just equal to the definite integral, the limit of the Riemann sum. Ang limit ani is just equal to the definite integral. Ang limit sa tanan nga sum sa imong rectangle. Now, the definite integral. Okay, so kanang b is the upper limit of integration. Kani siya is the integration symbol or the integral sign. Elongated s na ang other books describe it as an elongated s or the integral sign or integration symbol. A is the what? The lower limit of integration. Variable of integration is dx. F of x is the integrand. Okay, unsa ang pagbasa? This is read as the integral of f of x dx from a to b, or the integral of f of x dx evaluated from a to b. So b is your upper bound, the upper limit, and a is your lower limit or the lower bound. Now, area under the curve. Okay, so yung nani ang symbol, no? Wala na tong limit, no? The limit of the Riemann sum will just be equal to the definite integral. So if you have this figure and you wish to find the area under this curve y is equal to f of x, the one that you're getting the area, the fact that you're getting the area is just simply equal to finding or evaluating the definite integral. So kung gusto nimo ni kwaon, pwede nimo ni siya makuha ang area ani using the definite integral. So because we don't have any definite formula to find this particular figure because this is irregular in shape, therefore for this particular case, okay, we are going to employ, or we're going to use the concept of definite. So ang area ani will just be equal to the integral. Okay, you just write your lower limit to, okay, then upper limit, then the function nagga-bound sa imuhang the curve f of x dx, and you'll be able to find the area for this particular shaded region. No? Okay, yun ani siya class. An area under a curve, ano lang. So this one, area between two curves. Okay, so there are a lot of examples. Now, illustration here. Now, suppose you're asked to find the area between the curve y cubed, y equals x cubed. The x-axis between x is equal to -2 and x is equal to 2. Okay. So, unsa daw ang area? Kaning yellow, di ba? Unsa area ani? Therefore, definitely, atong i-add ang area. So, usually, unsa area ni? Ditsoon nimo, no? Integrate. What is the integral of x cubed? X to the 4 over 4. Okay, lower limit is -2, upper is 2. So, kung atong i-substitute siya, okay, 4 cubed, 2 to the 4 over 4 minus -2 to the 4 over 4, that would be 0. Imposible nga ma-0 ni class, no? Na area man. There's really an area, kanang shaded nga yellow. So therefore, for this case, we are going to split the graph into 2. So same, this is what y equals x cubed. So kuha na to, no, atong duhaon ni kuha na to ning area using definite integral, and so with this one. So lahi ang iyang lower limit ug upper limit. Ang lower ani is -2 to 0. Then here 0 to 2. So 0 to 2, the integral of 0 to 2 x cubed dx is x to the 4 over 4, and that is equal to what? So this is, pila man ni siya? 2. 16, no? 16 minus 0. So 16 over 4 is 4 minus 0 is 4. Here, x to the 4 over 4 evaluated from -2 to 0. So 0 minus 16 over 4 is -4. Okay, so -4. There's no such thing as negative area. So we will just take the absolute value. So the area is 4. And we are going to add this area plus this area. So the total is 8. And since wala man tayo particular nga unit, it should be square units because we're talking about area. Okay, for illustration 2, now what if you're asked to find the area for this particular shaded region, di ba? Kung saan ang pagpangita sa area ani? If the curve, this particular curve represents the function which is equal to x cubed minus 4x squared plus 2x plus 5. So, what is the lower bound? It's or lower limit, it's 1, it's 3. So, the integral from 1 to 3, okay, the function is this one. Then we will apply the sum and different rules for integrals. So, what is the integral of x cubed? X to the 4. What is the integral of x squared? X cubed. Diba? X cubed over 3. Okay, so x cubed over 3 times 4. Kaya dapat magkay 4. What is the integral of x? X squared over 2. Dapat magkay 2 times 2. What is the integral of 5? So 5x. Evaluated from 1 to 3. No? Okay, so all x, ilisan nato ng 3 minus all x, ilisan nato 1. So 8.5 minus 4.92, 3.33. Therefore, the area for this shaded region is actually equal to 3.33. O diba, pwede gid siya kuha ng area. Okay, for illustration 3, okay, find the area of the region bounded by y equals 2x. Y equals 0. Y equals 0 is just simply your x-axis, no? X is equal to 0 and x is equal to 2. But take note, class, ay familiar man ang figure. This is our what? Triangle. And we know for the fact that area of our triangle is equal to 1/2 base times height. Ma'am, wala man gihatag ang base, ang x no, ng height, no? Kani. Okay, so when x is equal to 2, ano? The base is 2. You don't know the height. So when x is equal to 2, what is y? Okay, y man eh. So substitute na to, 2 times 2 is 4. So there are two methods actually to find this particular shaded region bounded by y equals 2x. Okay, method 1. So this problem may be solved using the formula for the area of a triangle. 1/2 base times height. Your base is 2, your height is 4. Asa gikan ang 4? 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. So the area is 4 units squared. Okay, since we already know that the integral, definite integral also represents the area of the region bounded above by this particular function. So if we let f of x equals 2x, so the integral of what is your lower limit is 0 to your function is 2x. So constant multiple ato ni pagawas ang 2. What is the integral of x dx? X squared over 2. Evaluating 2 minus 0, you will get 4 square units. So the first method is fast, but works because the area is that triangle. However, the second method works for figures other than rectangles. Okay, so for activity number 1, kamo na ipangita sa area, no? Okay, so your function is 0.1 x cubed. This is your x-axis, munang y0, okay? So your lower limit is 2, your upper limit is 4. Okay, just integrate this one. Oh, you just get the integral of this. Evaluate using the fundamental theorem of calculus, then you will be able to get the area of the shaded region. Then for activity 2, okay, so this is now the function. Your lower limit is 1, your upper limit is 3. Okay, upper limit is 3. But take note, your shaded region is below the x-axis. Definitely you will be able to get a negative area. You just take the what? The absolute value of that because there is no such thing as negative area. Okay, may area nga negative. Okay, properties of definite integral. If we have properties for indefinite, we also, or the antiderivative, we also have properties for definite. Okay, so the integral of 1 dx from a to b is just equal to b minus a. Okay, second is a constant factor, very common. Kanisha is the integral of the sum will just be equal to the sum of the integrals. The integral of the difference will just be equal to the difference of the integral. Ang tani equality symbol rin. If the upper and the lower limits are the same, zero, no zero. Then reversing the limits of integration, say for example, b to a, balihon na to a to b, you just prefix with a negative, no? So the reversing the limits of integration changes the sign of the definite integral. 7, suppose c is between a and b, so the integral from a to b f of x dx will just be equal to the integral of f of x dx from a to c plus c to b f of x dx. Take note, c is between a and b. Number 8, the definite integral of the negative function, non-negative, is always greater than 0. The definite integral of non-positive function is less than 0. Okay, so activity 2. So activity 2 is evaluate lang ang properties, gamitin lang ang properties 1 to 9. Here, gamitin lang is 1 to 10. Okay, somebody asked me about activity 3 and 4. Ma'am, so ano pag-interpret? Ay, sulatan lang ni mo na unsay meaning ana. Okay, so pag-interpret, meaning to say, we are going to translate activity 3 into words. So, sige, katong hint ani. So, this integral of 5x dx evaluated from 3 to 1 is equal to 10. So, how are we going to interpret this one? The area bounded by the function f of x is equal to 5 below, the region bounded above, the region bounded above by the function f of x is equal to 5 above the x-axis, positive man and the vertical lines x is equal to 1, x is equal to 3, has an area equal to 10 square units. Muna siya pag-answer sa activity number 3. O di ba bungga, kaya na ako na nag-answer. Now again, how are we going to interpret? The area bounded above by the function f of x is equal to 5, above the x-axis, the vertical lines x is equal to 3 and x is equal to 1 has an area equal to 10 square units. All the rest ka muna. Okay, ang activity number 4, words man ni siya, i-translate into symbol. So, kaning 3 o 4 baliktad na siya. Ang kaning 1, actually, himuon ni mong 4. Kumbali, we're going to translate this into words. Kaning words, translate this one into symbols. Definite integral symbols. Okay. So, manako sa active. This is module number 5. Questions, module 5. Okay, I'm going to discuss last but not the least, module number 7. Next question, Panangit? Estrada. Yes?
Kuan ma'am, pwede pabalik sa kuan ma'am katong pag-interpret.
Pag-interpret?
Yes ma'am.
Interpret kay suwat nimo. Okay.
Yes, yes ma'am.
Ang sige to, module 5 no?
Yes ma'am.
Module 5. Ay. Sige, go. The last part, I think that is activity number 3. Last part, direct. This one. Kani, dire, Estrada?
Wala naman na share screen ma'am.
Ay, wala na ako na script. Oh, okay. For a while. Wala na ako na
Yes,
share.
ma'am. Yes,
Wala pa rin ako na share ang screen. Like. Baka kay dugay siya ni share ha. Okay. Okay, nakita na? Okay na?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I guess you're referring to number 1, activity 3, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so sige. Akong hinayon og storya aron makuha ninyo. Okay, for number 1, okay, so the region bounded below by the function f of x is equal to 5. The vertical lines x is equal to 1, x is equal to 3. Above the x-axis has an area of 10 square units. Nakuha ra?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ana siya pag-interpret.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes. Kinsa ni si Caballo?
Nakoy question, ma'am.
Yes. Kinsa ni nag-ask?
Si Nicholson, ma'am.
Okay, sige. Go.
Katong sa illustration 2, ma'am ba?
Module 5 na?
Yes, ma'am.
Illustration to. Illustration. This one?
Kana, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, nga.
Katong kuan, ma'am ba? Diha bitaw sa iya ang function, ma'am. Katong ingon ka nga i-substitute ang iyang limit ang 1 ug 3. Nalibog ko, ma'am. Asa i-substitute?
Diri. Diba? Mo man ni siya final nga answer, diba?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Ilisan nimo na ang kani 3 cube 3 at ang x ilisan mo 3. So 3 to the 4 over 4 minus 3 cube over 3 times 4 pa biya na. Plus 3 squared over 2 times 2 plus 5 times 3 minus ilisan na pud nimo ning tanang x ug 1. You get the difference. It will give you an answer 3.33. Dili mo.
Okay.
Ang tanang x ilisan sa mo 3.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Dayon, ang
Nag-gets
answer
na ako, ma'am.
ang answer ana 8.25. Then substitute x with 1 which is the lower limit, you will get an answer 4.92. So the difference now is 3.33.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, you're welcome. Some more questions? Wala na? Thank you for your questions. At least naminaw gid ay. No, naminaw gid ay. Okay? I still have one more, no? One more module to be discussed. Module 7. Okay. Module 7. Okay, makita ang screen sa module 7.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
This is all about substitution rule for definite integral. And I guess naka-encounter na po mo ani sa anti-differentiation. So, polish lang nato ni siya. Okay, so there are two methods for evaluating definite integrals. Specifically for substitution rule, no? Okay, so method 1, using the fundamental theorem of calculus. So example 1, integral of 3 times the quantity 3x plus 1 raised to the 5th power dx. So kuha na to ang antiderivative for that, it will give you an answer 1/6 plus c, no? Na lang. Okay. Now, since the lower limit is 0, the upper limit is 1, by using the FTOC, okay, so tanan nga x ilisan na to og 1, then minus the function evaluated when x is equal to 0. O ingon anion pag-answer ni Coulson, no? Ang upper limit is substitute sa ato ang answer, minusan. This is f of b. Ang b na to kay 1, ang a na to kay 0. So this is f of b, f of a, meaning the result evaluated when x is equal to 1 minus the result evaluated when x is equal to 0. So the answer is 682.5. Paki-check po ba si Deg Sayop, no? Okay. So example number 2, then, okay, evaluate x times e raised to the power of 4x squared plus 1 dx evaluated from 3 to 6. So here, okay, gamito nato ang substitution rule. Usually we will use the variable u. Let u be equal to 4x squared plus 1. So u prime, actually u prime is just the derivative of your u. So du, equivalent lang siya sa du. So also derivative sa 4x squared plus 1. Diba? Kung derivative, always remember, you multiply the exponent by the numerical coefficient. Okay, minusan lang nato ning exponent of 1. So du equals 8x dx. So du over 8 is x dx. So x dx or 1/8 over du. So ang x dx diha, unsa na? Ang x dx is du over 8. Okay, so du over 8 lang na siya. So this expression could be written as 1/8 8x e to the 4x squared plus 1. Okay, you may wonder, ma'am, nganong ga-add taog, nganong ga-employ taog 8 nga integral? Ang derivative is 8x ds. Di ba wala 8 dito? Wala 8 dito, right? So, if we're going to write or we're going to add 8x dx, so ato siya multiply by what? 1 over 8. 1 over 8 times 8 will just be equal to 1. So, 1/8, ang 8x dx is just your u prime. Ang e to the 4x squared plus 1 is your u. So the integral of u prime eu du, the integral of eu is just equal to e to the u. And substituting your u with 4x squared plus 1, so your final answer is 1/8 e to raise to the power of 4x squared plus 1 plus c. Okay. Excuse sa class ha. So, letting c equal to 0. Okay, so 1/8 e to the 4x squared plus 1. Okay, so that is the final answer. We are going to find the difference or get the difference. So we have 1/8 times the quantity of e to the 145 minus e to the 37. Okay. So method number 2. Ang method 2 is substitute gihapon siya class. Pero iyahang giilisan daan ang iyang gilet og u. So gi-change ang unsa. Gi-change na ang lower o ang upper limit. Okay. So say for example, you are asked to evaluate this one. Let u be equal to x squared plus 4x. So ang du ani is 2x plus 4 dx. Okay. Instead nga i-plot in na din ha. Okay, so ang u, x squared plus 4x, gilisan niya ang x og when x is equal to 2, Kung 2 squared plus 4x, ang u is 12. When x is equal to 1, u is 5. So, gi-substitute niya daan sa gilat nga u, na change ng atong lower ug upper limit. So, 5 to 12, u cubed du. This is 1/4 u to the 4. So, gilisan ang u of 12 o 5. Ang answer is right away, 5,027.75. So, this is method number 2. So, kung method number 1, using the FTOC, okay, so kana, no? Okay, so katong yung original niya nga upper ug lower limit, wala gi-substitute sa katong gilat nga u. No, giana siya, parihara siya og answer actually. Okay. So here compute the integral of the quantity 2x minus 1 cube evaluated from 0 to 2. So method number 1, we let it u. Pag abot sa u, ni balik ta dito sa katong atong gilet nga 2x minus 1. Then, GFTOC. Pero sa method number 2, galet u ka, parihara siya og actually solution dito, pero gilisan daan, gi-change ang upper ug lower bound. So, gi-substitute ang upper ug lower limit sa imong gilet nga u. When x is equal to 0, 2 times 0 minus 1, negative 1. 2 times 2, 4 minus 1, 3. So, gi-substitute siya, ang answer di evaluated, diretso na, no? Actually, ang method number 2, gilisa as ang atong gilat nga yu, gilisan nato, no? Gilisan nato sa upper ug lower bound. Okay, so ang atong answer is u to the 4 over 8. Then FTOC, o gidiretso na siya. Ang katong method number 1 lang, gi-evaluate ang u, giilisan og x, ay pa dayon gi-evaluate using FTOC. Kani siya, galet kag u, ang u giilisan nato og lower upper limit, then gi-FTOC diretso na dayon. Okay. Then, okay, this is now your task to answer. Okay, so ang instruction is use either method 1 or method 2. Of course, you're going to show your solution. Depende kung asa ka comfortable, you can use either method. No? Okay, so any questions regarding module number 7? Wala na? Yes, Bakod, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so if none, then I guess that's all for today. Okay, so this is our last discussion actually. So, wala na, graduate
I'm
ng
not tossing my fucking hands up. I'm not starting my fucking self.
Uy, nausa
You
naman
fucking stupid bitch. This stupid fucking justice, all fucking bitches, fucking nigger.
Nausa ni,
Alex is
nausa ni
doing
sa
this
ikuan.
shit. You fucking nigger. I swear to fucking God, I'm gonna yell. Everybody type in the chat, Alex is a stupid nigger. Just type in the
Nausa naman ni siya.
Ma'am, mamit naman na siya, ma'am.
Ha?
Mamit naman na siya. Mamit naman na siya.
Baden hacker na, ma'am.
Naunsa na ni siya. Naunsa na ni si Kuan, sani? Ni Bowling Cagliostro.
Yawa.
Ano? Oh, naunsa ni siya Verano.
Putla ka, troll. Binuang.
Oh. Okay, so wala na question Verano.
Wala na, ma'am.
Oh, sige. Okay, so good luck. Thank you for your time. Okay, so thank you guys.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Salamat, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
Humay sa gasya gina.
Thank you.
Nice record, guys.
Wait.
Noon sa man to siya.
Ayaw ato niya ay. Di ba ito kasmit ba?
Respeto dato.
Siguro eh. Kung classmate man nato, proud ikaw to niya ba?
Grabe.
Sana all strong. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Mute lagi dyan.